Hello Internet, and welcome to a particularly blessed episode of Screen Peeves, a series in which I waste my precious valuable time on Earth complaining about things which are so trivial that it might give you cause to rethink your own life if you find yourself in agreement with me. So we've all sat there performing the daily ritual of flicking through the same 20 titles that Netflix is persistently trying to force us to watch. It loves to just recategorize these same few things in a vaguely different order in the hopes that we might get confused and actually choose to watch some of their self-produced toss. We all know that trending now, popular on Netflix, and top picks for you are all the same thing, Netflix. You aren't fooling anyone by just slightly changing the order of the thumbnails. Stop hiding all of the good stuff behind this insurmountable wall of garbage, and please update your user interface to make discovery easier. You waste so much menu space on repeats and other unnecessary things like continue watching. I mean, if it's a show I've watched several episodes of, then fine. Sure, maybe I'll carry on watching it. But if it's a movie that I watched 10 minutes of 2 years ago, you can be absolutely certain that I'm not interested in watching the rest of it. I've clearly turned it off because it sucks. I'm not thinking, oh yeah, this movie is great, but I think I might just pause it and watch the rest in 2022. And then there's watch again. I'm not a Teletubby, Netflix.
You criticized Zombieland for using out-of-date reference humor, and now you're doing the exact same thing.
Oh shit, yeah, I suppose that is quite hypocritical of me. What if I write a bit that acknowledges this but also shows that I'm self-aware?
Oh, then that's absolutely fine.
Fine. I'm not a Teletubby, Netflix, nor do I have the memory of a sieve. Why on earth would I want to rewatch any of the movies that I already saw this week? And please add a function to allow users to manually remove things from the menus. I'm never going to watch Riverdale, ever. I must have scrolled past it 1,000 times at this point. I don't care how many times you show it to me, and I don't care how many new episodes you manage to pull out of your ass. I'm not interested. But I do care when your menu starts auto-playing the damn trailer at full volume if I get distracted for a single second.
Our story is about a town.
Fuck! You're so desperate for attention and needy, Netflix. Take a chill. Just give us a not interested in this button. Please, I beg you. And there's far too much cursing, violence, drugs, nudity, and sinfulness in the broad variety of shows and movies you have available on your platform, all from a wide range of backgrounds and perspectives. It's disgusting, really. I just can't handle all of this diversity. Ugh. I just wish there was a different streaming platform that wasn't as complicated and scary, where I could watch the same one guy be the hero in basically everything. Surely there must be a service that gives me access to the latest and best faith and family content with a huge catalogue of Christ-centered movies at the click of a button.
You're talking about Pureflix, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh man, I only know about it because the bloodsuckers that created it are on the short list to join me downstairs. The big guy really can't stand anyone who takes advantage of others' faith for their own personal gain. It's one of the few things me and old beardy boy up there actually see eye to eye on. You know, it's funny because they're all under the illusion that they've got an express ticket up because they're spreading the good word, when in reality, I've already built a special place down there just for them.
Ooh, what have you got planned?
Let's just say I've started my own streaming platform and I've written a few sitcom scripts of my own for these guys to act out. Forever. Anyway, I gotta get out of here for a while. The last time I saw Pureflix content, I had to bathe in acid for a month just to get all the holy off of me.
Yes, that's right. Today we're talking about Pureflix, the Christian alternative to Netflix, which is the brainchild of married saints and most likely lizard people, Andrea Logan and David A.R. White. It's a streaming service which provides a range of entirely Christ-centered content, which is completely safe from the threat of any recognizable forms of quality, featuring a selection of different content types which all display a level of incompetence that has rarely been seen before, and a good chunk of which stars boss lizard David in the leading role. He's the prolific Tommy Wiseau of Jesus movies, and this entire fantastic library could all be yours for the low fee of $12.99 a month. Yes, you heard me right. Not only is the variety and quality much less than Netflix, but it's also more expensive than its immoral feral cousin. And so today we'll be taking a look at some of the choice cuts from this glorious platform to see just how awful it truly is. Oh, what the hell? So it appears that Pureflix doesn't actually work in the UK. Good job, today's video is sponsored by NordVPN. I'll just fire up trusty NordVPN and pick one of the super fast servers from the 60 plus countries available. Well, obviously I'm going to pick United States for this particular task, but if, say, I wanted to pretend that I wasn't locked in my basement right now when I should be on holiday in Italy, I could. And just like that, within seconds, I'm now apparently sat in New York and have full access to the previously unavailable Pureflix. Great. I'm actually super happy NordVPN sponsored today's video, as I've been a customer of theirs for almost a year now, and I do genuinely use this product every day. Aside from unlocking regional specific content on actually good streaming platforms, it also uses double data encryption and doesn't log any data itself, so whenever I'm working remotely from a coffee shop or cafe and using public Wi-Fi, I feel confident knowing that some greasy hacker man isn't squatting outside and stealing all of my precious data. They also offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you've really got nothing to lose by trying it out for yourself. You can get 70% off NordVPN using my link down in the description, or use coupon code CynicSnacks. With this offer, it works out at $3.49 a month, plus you get an additional month for free. And it's thanks to NordVPN that we can actually get onto Pureflix right now and have the holy experience that we all deserve. Now, although I was baptized as a child, I strayed from the path of holiness many years ago and have never had any intention of returning. But the quality of content on this platform is so utterly dire that it's even made me reconsider and pray to our sweet Lord Jesus Christ that something is done to right this wrong. I obviously recognise that there's a gap in the market that needs filling, but I hope and pray that somebody else comes along and actually does a decent job of providing content for people of faith, because this is horse shit. Now, credit where credit is due, there's actually some okay children's content on Pureflix, like Bible Man, which I don't even need to attest to its quality. You can quite clearly see for yourself that this show is fucking awesome. Then there's other absolute howlers like Skate Dog, which, fuck, I should probably give this one its own episode of Junk Film Review, because wow, this is a blessed piece of trash. Clearly one of those ideas that got greenlit by a clueless executive on the basis of a single viral internet video.
A skateboarding dog? Brilliant.
They even managed to underhandedly wrangle an endorsement from the Birdman himself. Yes, Tony Hawk appears in this dogshit movie for less than 20 seconds, and they didn't even mic him up.
Congrats on taking Modern State Global, that's huge.
You can barely hear what he says. Did he even know he was going to be in a movie?
Oh, I can't watch.
Anyway, if skateboarding is a bit too extreme and antisocial for your tastes, there's actually an entire section of the menu dedicated to dog movies specifically, which is quite sweet, I guess. Nothing quite like watching hundreds of hours of badly edited dog mouths. But there's also a section dedicated to horse movies too. There's a real tangible aura of whiteness surrounding this platform.
What are you doing to that horse?
Pureflix has also dipped its toe in the stand-up comedy pool and created a series of comedy specials which feature clean-only comedians, all delivering the kind of diluted, flavourless jokes you'd expect from an act at a child's birthday party. Now, I'm not saying jokes have to be crass or offensive in order to be funny, but it would definitely help, especially when the comedy arsenal on display here boils down to people pulling stupid faces and telling fat jokes.
What are we gonna do about Mama's diabetes?
Oh ha ha ha. Don't worry though, the distinct lack of quality is masked quite convincingly by an audience of adults who seem to be so desperately trying to prove they're having a great time that they'll laugh at literally anything.
If I keep laughing, maybe the voices won't tell me to murder again.
But if you're more of a serious type of Christian, then perhaps pretending to laugh isn't for you and you'd like to watch some extremely biased debates between two people who already share the exact same viewpoint. In which case, why not try PureTalk, Answering Atheists, where they don't actually get any atheists in to have a fair discussion. They just present the flimsiest version of an atheist's argument and then take the completely free opportunity to absolutely dunk on them. Check checkmate atheism. They take it in turns to destroy the queue of straw men that they've lined up for themselves and then congratulate each other for being so smart and incredible. Pretty strange that despite being vehemently opposed to homosexuality, it would appear that the men in this series have no issue at all with sucking each other's dicks in a holy way. My favourite guest is this man who claims that when he was younger he was a rap artist.
I was a rap artist.
Signed with a big producer and was on his way to the big time.
I was on my way to the big time.
However, when he became a gang member with the Crips,
I had this rebellious streak in me, but I'd become a gang member with the Crips.
Yeah, okay. He had he had a moment of awakening and accepted Christ into his life forever. Wow, that's such an incredible story. I truly believe that this buzzcut brown shoe wearing ass was a member of the fucking Crips. He then goes on to condone biblical slavery, although he admits that it's not ideal.
It wasn't ideal.
And then says homosexuality being illegal is completely acceptable.
Completely acceptable.
And the enforcement of capital punishment for such a crime.
Punishment for homosexuality, capital punishment.
Is perfect, holy, and just.
And it was perfect, it was holy, and it was just.
Gee, I'm sure glad my children aren't subject to any of the nasty curse words present in a show on Netflix.
Greasy son of a whore.
Thankfully, they're free from all of the corruption that would surely cause. I can relax in the knowledge that they're safely learning the pure and wholesome values of being violently bigoted towards others, in a holy way. If killing the gays isn't your sort of thing, but you are a more action-oriented supplicant, Pureflix has you covered, and have produced some rip-off versions of other popular shows and movies. You don't need to watch the unholy and depraved Sons of Anarchy, which tells the story of bikers getting into fights and shooting people, when instead you could be watching Sons of Thunder, which tells the story of bikers getting into fights and shooting people, but also spreading the good word of our Lord Jesus Christ. Or if you really like the look of Mad Max Fury Road, but were put off by the distinct lack of Bible verses in your post-apocalyptic motor carnage movie, then perhaps you'd consider watching its high-octane and righteous cousin, Revelation Road, starring none other than our new best friend, David A.R. White. But if none of the previously mentioned titles tickle your bishop, then maybe you're more of a trashy reality TV junkie. Now don't worry, there's no premarital sex or kissing or holding hands like you'd see in those schlocky garbage shows on Netflix like Love is Blind, Dating Around, or Back with the Ex. No. Instead we have more wholesome titles like Sex as God's Gift and Love Your Marriage Night. But there is some less lovey-dovey titles like How a Marriage Gets Hijacked. Now, whilst the content we've looked at so far is god-awful, it was mostly produced elsewhere and then acquired by Pureflix to help beef out their catalogue, and doesn't even come close to how utterly dreadful and baffling the self-produced stuff is. It's not enough for King Lizard David A.R. White to run the company, but he also needs to use this platform to try and position himself as some sort of filmic deity by writing, producing, directing, and starring as the lead in over 50 titles. And yes, you guessed it, much like the other movie control freaks we've discussed on this channel, he's completely incompetent at every single aspect of the roles he's given himself. Of the 50 plus titles he's worked on, he pretty much always positions himself as the heartthrob hero, and if he isn't the one going around converting all of the putrid sinners, he is the rough and tumble streetwise action guy who's plagued by personal demons and who has a revelation and is converted into a man of faith. Where other indie productions typically have a strong reliance on bad CGI to try and help them bring their ambitions to life, Pureflix doesn't really struggle with this at all because they've got Jesus money, and that means they can afford sports cars, private jets, speedboats, trips to Thailand. You wouldn't be purposely writing these movies so you could have extravagant holidays as a tax write-off, would you, David? That's not very holy of you. Yet, despite the apparent bottomless budget, they still haven't managed to get a handle on how to use a fucking green screen, but I'm just nitpicking now. He's even been dealing out the divine dollars to dazzle some pretty middling D-list actors into accepting supporting roles like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Hercules, Superman, Samwise Gamgee, Alec Baldwin's brother, and they even managed to get the one and only Sergeant Al Powell from Die Hard. But they all give extremely tired and underwhelming performances as they're clearly comfortable in the knowledge they can just phone it in and collect an easy paycheck, like, it would be completely pointless of them to even try and apply themselves anyway, as the writing is so abysmally dull. And the worst part is they always handle the inclusion of faith in such a ham-fisted way. It's never subtly woven into the fabric of the story, it's always just sort of plopped carelessly on top like the sloppy minced beef in a Kay's cooking recipe. Now, I truly believe that being a great comic actor is an undervalued achievement. They're often disregarded and shunned within the industry and not celebrated with the same enthusiasm as their more serious peers, although there are quite a few prominent examples of comic actors taking on the mantle of a serious role and it completely changing the perception of their talents, sometimes even to a career-defining extent. Jim Carrey in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Steve Carell in Foxcatcher, and most recently Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems. These performances presented the true depth of talent present in these actors that had been long overlooked as they were written off as just comedy actors, which is extremely unfair as I'm struggling to think of any examples to the contrary, where actors who've successfully built a career in serious roles have managed to transition into comedy with such immediate and remarkable flair. Comedy is fucking difficult. Making people laugh is extremely tricky, and any slight misstep can lead to utter catastrophe. And so, when our lizard champion, David A.R. White, attempts to make his own sitcom, it stands out shoulders above his body of work as the single worst thing he's concocted. In the outstanding series Malibu Dan the Family Man, David and the gang absolutely smash it out the park with their side-splitting wit, wacky characters, and hilarious situational comedy.
You're not letting your mother move in with us, Dan!
I've not heard this much laughter in my entire life, so this show must be the funniest thing ever. Oh no, wait, it's just a laugh track. And I think whoever they hired to press the canned laughter button has fucking Parkinson's, as the laugh track is pretty much constant throughout the entirety of each episode.
Reggie, Holly has a request.
Hold it. I bring in ad revenue here. I keep the lights on. I should get to talk to Holiday, too.
Arlen, can you tell Reggie that I couldn't hear what you said because he just interrupted you?
Holly, Reggie has a point.
Even lines and actions that are clearly not intended as jokes are met with sudden explosions of roaring laughter. I know, generally speaking, all the tired sitcoms we've come to know and loathe are guilty of this to some extent, but this is the most egregious case of stock laughter syndrome that I've ever seen.
Show business, Dan. It ain't all limos and Learjets.
This show also features the worst implementation of a green screen in any of David A.R. White's projects, and it's not like they're trying to do anything particularly outlandish, like setting it in ancient times or visiting an alien planet. It's literally just a simple TV studio set. And the dumbest part is, they would have been in an actual studio to film the green screen in the first place. Sure, you can afford yachts and trips to Mumbai because that benefits you personally, but you couldn't possibly spare a little bit of your giant budget to hire out an office for the day, buy some basic props to create your own TV set. Now we'll just hire some freelance graphic designer to render it all in horrible, cheap-looking 3D and dump it behind the actors at jaunty angles. If I was allowed to choose anything from Pureflix to delete forever, it would be this fucking show. While attempting to present this body of work with a slapped-on plastic smile and act as if he's just doing this for the righteous cause of spreading the good word, David really wants you to feel like he cares about you and your family, and hasn't just identified a gap in the market for him to peddle his low-quality trash. This entire facade is a thin veil over what is the single greatest ego trip of the 21st century. You're smiling with your mouth, David, but I can see that dead gleam in your eyes. You're clearly trying to atone for something horrible that you've done in the past. What did you do, David? It's okay. Just tell us. God forgives you. Whatever heinous sins you're trying to repent for, it's okay. Just please stop making movies, because you're not good at it. Now, if you liked the look of any of the movies or shows in today's video, let me know down in the comments. I would seriously consider any of these for their own episode of Junk Film Review, but I want to know what you guys think first. Also, it's Cynic Snacks' second birthday. Hooray! I just wanted to say a huge thanks to all of you for watching, liking, commenting and subscribing, as we've now passed 60,000 subscribers, which is incredible. I'm so pleased that my work has managed to reach such an insane amount of people, and you've all been really supportive and lovely, and it's just the greatest feeling ever. So thank you all so much for making this a possibility. See you in the next one.